Welcome. My name is Douglas Getz, and you've found your way to the Diving and Thriving podcast. Here, we have enlightening conversations about how we can better navigate this sometimes crazy world we live in. From refreshing spiritual perspectives to tips about personal growth, the focus here is about how we can become better human beings. So I'd like to thank you for being here today, and I hope you enjoy this episode.
All right.
Hello?
Hello, Father.
Hi.
I'm doing well. How are you?
It was pretty easy.
Yeah, it was pretty easy.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, good. Well, I'm glad I was able to work out those technical issues.
Yeah, that was pretty easy, though.
Yeah, pretty easy, right?
Yep.
Would you care to do a new podcast? Start it again? Or would you
No.
Great. Well, I'm very happy to have you here. A very special guest today is my own dad, William Getz. So
Very nice.
I'm very excited for it. Because this, pretty much my whole spiritual journey was started because of you. Really. In reality.
Yes.
Yeah, and it started all with that one movie, The Secret.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Is that when it started?
The Secret, that's as far back as I can remember. And I think that was like high school wise. That was the first like spiritual like message or movie that came across that was like really, really like different, and like I latched on to the idea of gratitude rocks and the law of attraction. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the start of it. I remember you tried to get me to watch. I watched a couple of Deepak Chopra things, and then I remember there was Merlin in the Crystal Cave, which I think I watched one time. But
I remember. Okay, now I know. Now I know the time frame.
Yeah, I don't really remember Merlin in the Crystal Cave, but I remember that being another one.
Yeah, that was good.
It's
good production by Deepak.
Yeah.
He's done some good work.
Was Merlin in the Crystal Cave by Deepak?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, Merlin. There were two different. I believe there were two different type of productions, but they were the same format where he used Hollywood actors to read his scripts, his story. Yeah.
Nice.
Merlin, I think, and the Crystal Cave were two separate productions.
Yeah. Okay. And
if I have the names correct.
Yeah. And what were they about? Because I remember those being around before. Like, I remember you mentioning those before even mentioning the movie The Secret, which was the groundbreaking one, kind of.
Yeah. One was about transformation and King Arthur, and the secrets, the spiritual secrets that Merlin taught King Arthur. And then I believe the other one was about love.
Yeah.
It was about love, and he went through it. Great production, really. High quality. You had top A-list actors and actresses reading. You had, I forget the names right now.
Yeah. Well, no worries. I just remember you bringing up those two. And then,
yeah, we watched them. Yeah, they were on VHS.
I remember that. Yeah, weren't they an animated movie? It was an animated movie, right?
No. It was the characters were read by actors and actresses.
Okay.
And Puck would stop take breaks in between the readings, and then give his spiritual interpretation of what was going on.
Yeah.
So you got to be entertained by the actors and actresses in the storyline, and then you got to hear the spiritual interpretation from Deepak.
Yeah. Nice.
It was nice. Still is.
Yeah. I need to watch that.
Oh yeah, they're really enjoyable.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, but really, what started me was The Secret. And
that was great too.
That was something I latched onto. Very, very much so. Like, I remember it talked about the law of attraction, and I think that was the first time I ever, like, really, like, dived into the law of attraction. I remember you mentioning it, different things, be aware of your thoughts and all that. But then The Secret was really the thing that kind of broke it wide open, because that was more in, like, the documentary format.
Yeah, because they have all the visuals and the different stories of the different people, and the real, not basic, but the foundation of things like attitude of gratitude. That's important.
Mm-hmm.
That we go through life being grateful for what we have. There's so many people who don't have. And we have so much.
Yeah.
Different degrees, but we have so much.
Right.
The attitude of gratitude. Yeah, they showed you how to create.
Mm-hmm.
How to create what you want, your wants and desires.
Yeah.
Try to give you some hints on how they did it.
Yeah.
That was a big hit, The Secret.
That was huge.
Yeah.
That was huge. I remember that one was like... And wasn't it that the Secret was following around, and the people that were making The Secret were following around Abraham Hicks? Abraham and Jerry Hicks?
Well, the story with that is first Abraham and Jerry Hicks were involved, and then there was some sort of dispute after they cut the movie or the contracts or something. And so Abraham Hicks, Esther, and Jerry Hicks pulled out.
Yeah.
But they originally were in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I remember it being in one of their books that The Secret was based upon the work that they were sharing.
Yeah, they created a book called The Law of Attraction, just one book based on that, to describe the principle of how the universe works when you start thinking about something.
Yeah.
How it begins to attract what you're thinking about.
Yeah, and that really started me on the spiritual path. And so much, like, the concepts, like the main concept I really latched onto was the idea of gratitude rocks, and how that, like, the law of attraction was extremely important in my day to day, but also that I could bring other people up or share the message by giving out gratitude rocks.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And then by giving out a gratitude rock, I'd explain the whole concept of law of attraction, where you're supposed to be thankful.
You were in high school.
That's right. Yeah, I was in high school doing that.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, and it was one of the best parts of my day too.
I know you had a lot of fun doing that.
Oh, yeah, I'd call you, I'd tell you, like, hey Dad, I gave out 2 gratitude rocks today.
Yeah, you tell me the stories.
That's right, yeah. So because I would usually try to give them to people who looked really down and looked like they were having a bad day. And if I was friends enough with them, I'd say, hey Jasmine, or hey, like, Johnny, like, you look pretty down, like, where's your gratitude rock? They'd say, what's a gratitude rock? And then I'd go into explaining it. And then I would end up carrying like 2 gratitude rocks on me, because I would buy them from the dollar store. So I'd like have a whole like little pouch of them. I'd bring 2 with me each day. And then if I found somebody that was looking down, I would give them one of the gratitude rocks. And it was great.
That's a great thing to do for someone. That's a great thing to do for someone today.
Yeah, really.
Sure, it's still a good thing to do today.
It's still a good thing. It's still a good thing to do. Exactly.
Sure, that would make someone happy.
Yeah, right. Like one of my favorite Christmas gifts I got was actually a whole bag of gratitude rocks. And it's the size that I was looking for too.
Oh yeah.
Which was the big deal. Yeah, Julie found a full bag of them, and so I have like 50 to 60 of them.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, they're all navy blue, so I'm excited to have them because I can start handing them out again. It feels great, yeah. What a great thing to do for other people is to give them an object that mainly just serves as a reminder to say, hey, wow, I'm really thankful for my bed. I'm thankful for my refrigerator and the running water in my house.
Oh yeah, I remember the message in the I believe it was in The Secret. It was like when your feet hit the ground first thing in the morning, you try to remember the attitude of gratitude as soon as you start your day like that.
Yeah.
It's a great thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah, what a great mindset to stay in all day.
That's right, because it
if,
is
if possible, yeah.
As soon as you say that, you actually feel a change in your mindset. Yeah,
it's a big deal.
Yeah, it kind of goes into neutral, like you're not thinking about doing things. You just sort of gives you space, and you're just being grateful, and it's different.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels really good too. And the amount of things that, because Abraham Hicks, they talk about it, like so many spiritual people talk about the law of attraction as if it's just like the law of gravity, as if those two laws are pretty much equal footing.
It's true. Attraction is equal to the law of gravity. It's just one is inside ourselves, and it's more mental. Well, not even. The law of attraction is outside, but we have more control of that through our thinking.
Yeah.
We're able to interact with it.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a little more control over the law of attraction.
Yeah.
We can attract bad or what we don't want, or good and what we do want.
Right.
So in that respect, yeah.
Yeah, gravity pretty much stays the same.
Yeah, gravity doesn't really change.
No, not yet. They're working on that. They're doing different things.
Yeah.
Yeah, like to get planes and vehicles to float. Yeah, without mechanical power.
Yeah.
Like magnetism, pretty much.
Yeah. I remember the guy Elon Musk was working on kind of a hypertube, actually between I think Los Angeles and San Diego, or something, where the little tube could travel up to 200 miles an hour, and it would be like just sustained by magnets.
Oh yeah, no, they have that already. They definitely, that's maglev trains. They have them. They can go super fast, really fast. Yeah, really fast.
That's great.
I think thousands of miles an hour. Fast.
Yeah. I heard it was like up to like 200 or 250. What he was like planning on.
They already.
I'm sure when there's no friction, when there's no touching the ground,
right?
You could go really fast.
Oh yeah. Maglev trains underground.
Maglev trains.
Yep.
That's great.
It's great. Yeah, great technology.
Yeah, they got to get that more places.
Yeah, and then they doing it with airplanes too now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Using different frequencies to overcome gravity, using different frequencies inside the plane to counter gravity. So by counter, it's like it doesn't exist at when you're doing those things.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I saw a video on by David Wilcock recently, and he was explaining it. A recent video, actually, and his whole presentation was more about time travel.
Yeah,
focus on time travel, which is coming out more and more in the alternative type of productions that I'm seeing. Time travel, I'm hearing that more, and I'm a lot more of quantum.
Yeah, I hear quantum is gonna be amazing. Like, just with computers.
Yeah.
They were coming up with like a quantum chip where instead of like, you know how most computers are normally like, from old school they were just like ones and zeros, right?
Right.
Like it could be either 1 or 0, and it was that like loads of those ones or zeros would produce a program and produce like some result that they were looking for.
Yeah.
Well, with a quantum chip, instead of being able to only put out a 1 or a 0 as like an output, it was able to put out a 1 and a 0 as an output. And just by doing that, like, it seems so small, but the fact that they could put out a third output said that they could drastically increase what could be done with computers and computing. Just by having that third option is, instead of like ones and zeros, which all computing has ever been built on, now there's a third option. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know the mechanics of quantum computing, but I am hearing this word. There's a quantum financial system coming. There's a quantum voting system that's supposedly in place. And in Joe Dispenza's book, The Habit of Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, he talks about the quantum you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quantum you.
So this word quantum is coming more and more into our more and more into our vocabulary in this time. I'm seeing it more and more. I'm seeing it more and more. And then the government set up a website, the quantum. If you go to quantum.gov, it's the federal government set up a website about the quantum sciences and what their whole objective is. Just recently. So yeah, it's quantum technologies, quantum science, quantum architecture. All these disciplines with quantum in front of it.
Now, are they just throwing that word out like it's the new trend?
No, like this is
quantum entertainment, quantum clothing.
You could do
quantum video game.
Yeah, you could do that.
Good. We're on the verge of a lot of things.
Yes, we are.
Like, really, we're on the verge of like a lot of technology coming out. It seems like it comes out slowly, and I guess that's because of like they got to make sure that it's safe for the consumer, or like they don't want to like release too much too quick. Because like, you remember when Google Glasses came out? Like, I don't know if you remember when they came out, but it was kind of like an augmented reality, whereas it's not like fully virtual reality, but they were like glasses that you could put on that had like a little screen or a little like piece of glass in like the top corner, and you'd be able to tap the glasses and ask it like, "Hey Google, direct me to McDonald's," and then it would like project a little image like where you could see it, and you would know how to get to McDonald's just by your glasses.
No, I never heard of those. I never heard of those.
Yeah, they came out about like 2 or 3 years ago. Came out a while back, and like they were actually too early for their time. Nobody got them. Like, they were not a fan of them, and then Google stopped producing them.
Yeah.
Because I guess they were just too early, or people thought like anybody wearing them was recording them all the time.
Yeah, I would think so, probably, right? Or doing something.
Yeah, like
doing something.
And you could record with those glasses. Doing
something to your eyes or something.
Yeah, you could record something. Like, you could record with those glasses. You could do a lot of things. It was like a form of augmented reality that was a little too early.
Were they called quantum glasses?
No, they were just called Google Glasses.
Okay.
But right now, I'm pretty sure Apple is going to be coming out with a pair of glasses like that that are augmented reality, half reality, and then half like computer interface a little bit, depending on what balance they have there. But yeah, that's going to be a thing that's coming. But same with like a lot of other things: quantum entertainment, quantum clothing, quantum, some of the other things. But yeah, quantum really seems like one of the technologies that's gonna shoot us into the future, whether we like it or not.
Yeah, it's. I think it's part of the changes. The changes in our developing of our the changes in our development. Like we graduate, like Joe Dispenza has a chapter called Quantum You.
Yeah.
And
what is that? Yeah, what is the quantum you?
He talks about how physicists used to divide the world into matter and thought. And then later matter, I'm quoting from the book, and later matter and energy. So first they divided the world into matter and thought. And later they divided it into matter and energy.
Yeah.
He considered all that separate from each other, but they're not. Then fast forward, he says, to our current understanding that we are part of a vast invisible field of energy which contains all possible realities and responds to our thoughts and feelings. So that's the law of attraction. What you think about the invisible field of energy or the universe or the vortex contains all possible realities and then responds to our thoughts and feelings. That's really what The Secret was about, too.
Yeah.
But Joe Dispenza brings science into, heavy science into it to back it up.
Yeah, that's one thing that I like about him a lot, actually, is that he does bring all that science into it. Like I've come to like if you share this information with certain people, like the law of attraction and whatnot, I think a lot of people just look at you or look at it as just like that's a bunch of like new school hippie information.
Yeah.
And discount it a little bit. But then as Joe Dispenza starts going into the science behind things,
right.
And I was watching one of his videos the other day where he said, so we know that, like, and he was just walking, so if this equals that, and everybody is in agreement on that, then this also equals the other thing, and we're all there, we all agree on that too, then just follow this train of thought. And he says, well, all we really need to do is tap into like the thoughts and feelings of what we want, and we're drawing that to us. We're drawing that lifestyle, whether it's that new whether it's that new job, whether it's the new lifestyle, whatever it may be. The more you think about it, the more you feel it, how that would feel when you have it.
Right.
Like the more you're closing that gap of time and space between now and that future point.
Yeah. So that's what The Secret was really addressing. But then Joe Dispenza brings the science in, and then brings in the word quantum, the quantum you, and he says, "Can I use my mind to create my reality?"
Yeah.
So that's what The Secret was saying. That's what Joe Dispenza is saying. But he goes into the science of how you can rewire your brain and all, and all the stuff, all the mechanics. Where The Secret was more about, ancient philosophy or, comparing it to wise men's sayings and stuff like that. And then people who actually created the reality they wanted. But there was no science behind it. So, and then Joe Dispenza calls it the quantum you. Which, a reality where which contains all possible realities and responds to our thoughts and feelings. So that's more.
Yeah.
And then he calls it the quantum use. It's mostly like almost like a space, similar to the space of the attitude of gratitude. When you get into that space, it's different.
Yeah. Yeah, would that quantum you be considered like your higher self?
It's that space, yeah. Yep, it's that space. It's that space where you feel that part of you where you know, you kind of feel that there's no, it doesn't appear there's any judgment there or there's no action there, but it's just silence. But it's certainly different than our thoughts and our mind, our thinking. It's different than our thinking. Let's put it that way. And when we're in the thinking mode and we're lost in our thinking, that's a different space than you, than your higher self. Yeah, so I would say yes. He's explaining your higher self when he says quantum you.
Yeah, the quantum you, the you that knows everything that you want.
That's sitting there.
And it's sitting there ready. It knows what you want.
Yeah, it's sitting there ready for you to access it so you can create the life you want. Yeah. Sitting there waiting for you to ask. And
to tap into the thoughts and feelings.
Yeah, and to direct your life the way you want it by using that creative ability, but asking a higher part of yourself, the quantum you, your higher self.
Yeah.
And start creating from there, or start putting the intentions in there of where you want to go, what you want to be.
Yeah, and sometimes it's tough to be able to discern what you want from this reality, like what kind of lifestyle you want, what kind of car you want to drive. Like that's tough. So what would you say in if somebody's going through that, or how do they get out of that?
No, you're talking about decision making. How do you decide?
Yeah,
good question.
Because there's thousands of choices.
Yeah,
you can get lost in all the choices.
Oh, there's millions of choices.
I heard that back in the day, like really long time ago, maybe 1800s, early 1900s, that you would go into a supermarket and there'd be maybe 2 types of shampoos to choose from,
right?
Or maybe 3, or the variety was so much less.
Yeah.
That you didn't really have as many choices as you have now.
Yeah, I'll take the brown shampoo. I like that.
Yeah. I'll take the brown one.
Yeah.
They don't give you 12 different scents to choose from.
No.
To smell. No.
Yeah,
you don't get that.
Yeah.
Do I want to smell like pine tar, or do I want to smell like?
Right. Yeah. Right. Like straw.
I don't even. Like straw, exactly. Pine tar or straw.
Smell like hay?
Yeah.
Hay?
Yup. Yeah, and those were the options. So yeah, especially now, you can really get confused. I think the term is analysis paralysis.
Yeah, well, that's probably a good time to drop down into meditation and access your higher self, where you could definitely do that to make a decision for sure. If you drop down to alpha using Jose Silva's technique, you could access your higher self, and then you ask, what should I do? Just like people would ask God, ask for help. But it's really important to be specific, not just ask for help, say, which car should I buy?
Yeah.
And then wait for an answer, which comes through your intuition. You'll get you'll develop over time when you practice this, you'll develop a pattern of when and how you get answers. It might be a nudge, an intuitive nudge. So, I like the red car that I looked at. I like the black car. And then it's important to follow the nudge, because that's your answer. But the answer comes in silence sometimes.
Yeah.
But we have to ask the question first, and then expect that we're going to be answered, because you're accessing higher self or God. You're doing it right, and then we have to wait for an answer. Sometimes the answer for some people comes in the sound of a song, in the words of a song, or if they see a picture of that car they looked at that feels really good, they say, "Oh, I think I'm wanting this one." Then there's a following their intuitive feelings or message being sent to them, and they say, "Oh, I think this one seems to be better." But we could practice that and get better and better at it. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think one of the toughest things, or one of the toughest states a person can be in, is a state of indecision. And staying there for a long period of time and not knowing how to get out of it.
Yep.
I think that's an incredibly difficult state to be in. I remember in one of the books that I read, Way of the Peaceful Warrior by Dan Millman, one of the lines that stood out at one point was the peaceful warrior, the guy who's like really like down along the development road spiritually and a couple other routes. He said the peaceful warrior sits when he sits and stands when he stands, but he doesn't wobble. He doesn't think about standing while he's sitting. He doesn't think about sitting while he's standing. There's less of the disconnect between what he wants and what he's doing.
Well, yeah, that's a great statement. That's a great example. We're talking about this making a decision.
Yeah, making it, and being an indecision is kind of like that wobbling state. That
wobbling is more like you make a decision, then you're doubting your decision. You're hemming it.
Yep.
That's more like a wobble.
Yes.
When he's standing, you're saying the wobble. When he's starting to stand, he's starting to say. In that example, it would be like, "Oh, should I stand or am I doing this?"
Yeah, or should I keep sitting?
Should I no, like as he's starting to stand. Oh, really? Should I really stand?
Yeah, do I really want to be standing? Should I be sitting right now? Yeah, and then what?
That's where the wobble would be.
Yeah, exactly. You're stuck in the middle. Should I be standing? Should I be sitting?
Well, am I?
Like as I'm sitting, I want to be standing. As I'm standing, I think I should be sitting.
Yeah. So,
like, just talk about such a mentally excruciating kind of ordeal.
That would be.
That's only going on within you.
Yeah, like you're going to the stove to get a cup of tea. Do I really want a cup of tea? Is this the right thing to do?
Yeah, or do I want coffee? Is it coffee I should have? Or should I have juice? And you're like, oh boy, I'm overwhelmed. I should just go back to bed.
Yeah, if it goes on too long, you will get overwhelmed. So that's when you got to switch. That's when you got to switch over to your intuition, to your spiritual training, and say, what do I feel like eating or drinking? And then feel what thoughts or feel better. But when we're only operating from our mental capacity, that's where a lot of the confusion comes in. When we're only operating from our mind, our thoughts. But when you add your intuition, which you get from your higher self, your inner being, which when you practice through meditation, you get that connection, then you can switch right over into that. Say, what do I feel like eating? And then you could say this, that, the other thing, and then, well, what do I feel? And then wait for more like a feel. You know what? That hamburger sounds a lot better.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that's a route, and another route that I've found is that do I want tea? Do I want coffee? Do I want juice? I don't know. So the thought is, all right, let me make some tea. If I'm not feeling the tea, then I'm going to make some juice after.
See, right there, you said it. I'm not feeling, or I'm feeling. See, that's the way your intuition, your higher self talks to you, through feelings. That's your your direction, your guidance. That's your guidance.
Your guide. Yep.
That's how you feel. So it's important to pay attention to our thoughts and to the way we feel. Because the feelings is a message sent from our higher being to us to guide us. So like you said, when I'm cooking, when I'm making the tea, if I'm not feeling the tea, see right there, you said it. If I'm not feeling the tea.
Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes, you know, you have to wait until you taste the tea before you're saying, oh, this is exactly what I want, or nah, this isn't it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to make the tea before you say, no, I didn't want the tea. I'm not feeling the tea. Let me try some coffee. I think maybe coffee will do it.
Well, in that case, then sometimes you have to drive a car you think you might like. And drive 2 or 3 cars. It's like, oh, I really like that other one. This car, I'm not feeling it.
Yeah.
I really like that other one.
Yeah.
So maybe you come up with a couple options and then you take action. And then you watch how you feel.
That's why they have the test drive.
You come up with a couple options and then you take action and see how you feel.
Yeah.
Like if we're talking about the decision-making process in general.
Yeah.
Now this is a new way. Come up with a couple options, take action, and then see how you feel.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, how do people make decisions? That is definitely one way.
That's definitely a way.
That is definitely.
Yeah, because I think at times, you know, if you're stuck in indecision, and you're not trying out the options that you have or test driving them, kind of.
Well, let's start with what we just said. Like, but what we get into is important. How you feel when you're in that indecision mode, because you're not moving forward, and being stuck feels bad.
Oh my! It's one of the worst feelings.
See what?
It's one of the worst feelings. I've felt stuck many times.
No, so feeling stuck, especially like you had said, for a long period of time, it just feels, going forward feels good, but feeling stuck feels bad. And then if you extend that the time of being stuck, then the feeling of feeling bad is extended too, and it's like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
Right. So, but that was a good point. Like, what about for people who, are in indecision mode and they feel bad? That's actually because you're in the indecision mode. Like you're being indecisive. You're not moving forward, even if it's wrong.
Even if it's wrong,
or even if you have to stop and come back and go forward again, that feeling stuck feeling does not feel good. And then it feels like you're paralyzed. You can't make a decision. Oh, I better go back to bed.
Exactly. Let me go back to bed. And then you go back to bed, and then you wake back up, and the decision's still there,
waiting for you to figure something out.
It's still waiting. You think it's gonna go someplace? It's not going anywhere.
Yeah. Right, or if you have a decision to make, then it would probably be good to, if you're having problems, just write it down, what you're trying to decide. List 3 options, A, B, and C, and then you could ask God for help. That's one way, just write mentally, just ask for help. Right where you.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, you could meditate on it and ask your spirit or God, same thing. Ask spirit for help, and then when you wake up, you look for the answer.
Yeah, there's that way. Another one is you come up with a pros and cons list of each one, and then you talk about it with somebody.
That's right. You remember that one, right? You remember that one?
Yeah. Well, I mean, talking about things with other people is really, really relieving, because like sometimes we feel there's a major pressure to make a decision, and it's a big decision. It affects us. It affects other people sometimes, and like if we only make that decision with our knowledge, our limited experience, then we're not making a fully informed decision.
Well, it's good to if it's a big decision, it's good to ask people that have expertise in what you're looking at. If you're trying to purchase something, a house, a car, and then you could ask advice of people, but it's important not to give yourself over or to be trapped by their words. It's important to develop that self-dependency where we make the decision. But it's good to ask advice of people who have more experience in things. Smart people ask the advice of their team, but like a leader, but they'll mostly make the decision on their own. What feels right to them. They'll let advice of other smart people around them. That's what teams are good for. If you ask your accountant. Yeah. Ask his advice. Your attorney.
Yeah, and that's smart.
Yeah, that's smart.
And then even just by doing that, you feel better because now the weight of that decision has been displaced a little bit. Like it's not all on you.
Yeah, but you also get different perspectives too, things you didn't think about. If you talk to your accountant and ask him which way is the best way to do this, and he said, well, let me explain it to you. If you do it this way, you can have this and that other repercussion, but if you do it this way, you'll have this and this benefit. And then you feel, wow, that was really good advice. I really never thought of that. And then, like you said, you feel it's less stressful, for sure. Because now the advice of your person on your team who's more of an expert at that. But if we go around asking so many people their advice about this, their advice about that, we could get lost. We could get lost.
I think 3 or 4 people is the max.
Well, if they have if you're talking about self-development, or you're talking about a specific thing. If you're talking about self-development, then 3 or 4 people max. But if you're talking about something specific, like asking 3 accountants might get a little confusing. But
I think that's probably a good route. If you're having trouble making a decision, reach out to 3 different people. That's always a good route. Like, as Kiyosaki says, when you're trying to find a new attorney or a financial planner or somebody to do construction, you should be interviewing 3 people. Reach out to at least 3 people.
That's sort of kind of rule that's been out there a while. If you're going to do some construction work, get 3 contractors in to give you a price, and then you go with the one that you feel best with. Maybe not the cheapest, maybe not the most expensive, someone maybe in the middle, but someone you're comfortable about, you get a good feeling about. I have the decision making. If you look back in school, you weren't really asked to make many decisions. There wasn't even really practice. You went from one grade to the next grade for 12 years. And then when you get to high school, then you're asked to make big decisions. Like what college? What do I do? Exactly. Where do I go? Do I go to college?
What do you want to do?
What do you want to do for the rest of your life? What do you want to do for the rest of your life? You're not asked to make decisions for 12 years, so there's no practice.
No.
And then you get to be 17, 18. They say, well, what do you want to do for the rest of your life? What?
For the rest of your life. Not for the next 4 years, not for the next
what career? You got to pick a career. Pick one. Even though you
and you got to
pick right, because that'll depend on which college you go.
Exactly. That'll depend on what classes you take. That'll depend on what career you end up doing. What courses
you sign up for. There's all.
What friends you make.
There's all prerequisites. Well, what do you like to do? I don't really know.
I don't really know. Oh, well, you gotta choose. You gotta choose.
Right.
Now.
You got a few months.
Because time is of
Hey,
the essence, and you got to be in school.
Come the fall, so you know. And it's,
Better
yeah,
choose.
nobody's asked you to make any decisions of years, and they're asking you to make life-changing decisions immediately.
I know. What a drastic change.
That's good, right? Because school's not preparing young people for the real world. They're not practicing decision making. Imagine if you were practicing decision making for 12 years, you'd have it down pat.
Yeah, and on top of that, you would know that being able to choose, being able to be an undecided major is an option.
Yeah.
You would know that. You would say, well, I would like to explore it a little bit. I may want to do science. I may
you would be
like engineering. I'm not sure.
You'd be in control of the decision-making process because you would have practiced it.
Exactly. And you say, what do you want to be for the rest of your life? Well, right now I'm undecided.
I'm undecided, but I have a good decision-making process inside of me, so I'll figure it out.
Yeah, I got a couple things that I want to.
Right. But I'll take care of this. I'll take care of it.
Yep.
Don't you worry.
Exactly. There's a book called The Sudbury School.
Sure, I read it. I believe
you heard of it. Well, I found it on your bookshelf.
Yeah.
That's where I first saw it.
Sure.
It said the Sudbury School, and I said, "Ooh, that's interesting." Not too many school books on this bookshelf. It was always alternative knowledge, new age things, new concepts. And the book was about a school in Massachusetts. Correct me if I get any of this wrong. But it was about a school in Massachusetts called the Sudbury School. And what they did at this school was revolutionary, where they would ask the kids what they wanted to learn.
Yeah.
And I was reading that, and I was going.
What age were they, the kids?
They were all ages. They were from first grade all the way up to I think high school age. And they'd teach all the students together, and the older students would help the younger students with math. Everybody, you would have a class with first graders and fifth graders in it. Everybody's in the same class learning the same material, whether that's math or reading or writing or physics or any advanced subjects that come up. It was just revolutionary because one of the stats that popped up was how long it took students to learn up to algebra 2, and that was long division. That was more advanced. That was addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, long division, fractions, decimals, percentages, and then you start to get into some equations. And they said they got a real solid handle on algebra in the span of 12 weeks.
Yeah.
Where normally students are learning math every year, every semester, every quarter, from first grade all the way up to 12th grade if they graduate high school, and they don't really know their fractions. They don't really know their decimals, and they're not solid with they don't know what exponentials are, or a whole variety of things. And they were saying that the reason because of that is that the students weren't interested in the topic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I remember one big story in there was that there was this one kid who would spend pretty much all his day fishing, and they had a lake at the school, and so he could just sit out there and fish, and he would do that the majority of the day and the majority of the time at the school. And every year, or often, he'd need to talk with either the mom or the dad of the student and tell them, because they would call and they'd be concerned, I'm concerned all my son does is fish. And this teacher, the principal would have to calm them down and say, okay, well, we know he's fishing, and you think that's all he's doing, but he's actually learning a lot more than just fishing. In fishing, he learns biology, he He learns the makeup of the lake. He learns about the fish themselves. He learns about what type of bait to use, what type of conditions are good for that, where to catch them, what kind of fishing rods are out there, and a whole bunch of nitty-gritty information related to fishing that he's interested in. And that was the key, that he was interested in. And they had to remind him, don't worry, the important thing to remember is that whenever he's ready to move on from this topic of fishing, he's going to attack that subject with the same enthusiasm that he goes after fishing for. And so they'd have to calm him down. And then eventually the student got into computers and making computers or repairing computers with spare parts from the internet and then selling them on the internet. And he was doing well. And all that developed from his passion of fishing. And then his passion of fishing led into his passion for computers.
And he's self-reliant, he's self-motivated, he's self-directed. That's a big difference than when you come out of 12 years of the standard education, and then somebody tries to direct you down this path, down that path, down the other path, where this person that you're describing, the student, he's already found a way to figure out what makes him happy, what's attractive to him, and he's able to practice being, going down that path, going down this path. But when we get out of school after 12 years, we don't know. We have no clue what is happy, what we're interested in. So that's why the decision is so much harder doing it that way. Not making decisions for your entire childhood. And then when you become 18, you have to make big decisions. Then it's a shock to the system. You're not prepared. That's what I'm saying. You're not prepared for real life because you haven't been practicing making decisions for 12 years. Compared to that other student who was practicing making decisions about what he's going to learn, when he's going to learn it, how deep he's going to go into that subject. And then when he's done with it, how does that feel? And then, all right, what's next? Yeah, that's a more organic way to grow up and learn stuff. Yeah, it was a good book because at the time, I was questioning what's the best type of education for both you and your brother. But these options are not that readily available. Maybe homeschool. No, they're not available out that readily out in the world around us. Maybe homeschooling is a little more, has a little bit more of that flavor.
Yeah, there's more flexibility.
Yeah, but I don't know. There's some other downsides to that.
There is. Yeah, here you got to make sure your kids are involved in sports, some team activity.
Yeah, that's become a bigger part. That wasn't so big years ago. Now they have. Yeah. They have, not only is it just organized sports, but they got coaches and camps and for almost like every sport, where every parent tries to get their son or daughter to be the super athlete. The super athlete. And it takes camps, it's summer, it's winter, it's tutor, trainers, personalized trainers. That wasn't like that years ago. Yeah. We, a lot of times we fell into organized sports by accident.
Yeah. Just like friends were
doing that's how
it.
I actually became a wrestler. Yeah, my friend was my friend's brother used to wrestle, so he wrestled. And then since I was my friend, then I figured, all right, I'll wrestle.
Yeah.
But now, if you look at the wrestling program down in South Jersey, and this has been that way for a while, they started so young.
Gosh. Yeah, Collies they were doing it at first and second grade.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
Yeah, it is.
have wrestlers that are competing
Yeah,
from like first, second grade.
I know.
It's crazy. Like, and then you're trying to compete against that when you just started as freshman year. You got
you got to get a lot of mat time in.
That's right. To be a kid that's been wrestling since
Right?
first grade.
It's so much more. It's all the
really.
moves are so much more in their subconscious, and everything the way they move. It's so much more ingrained in the subconscious. But so,
Yeah.
decision making is a big thing, and that's one of the things young people have a difficult time doing is making the decisions because, like I said, they haven't been practicing it for the past 12 years. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then, if you want to go here or go there or do something, then, you need to first, like we're talking about, you have to choose it. And then you got to make a plan how you're going to make it happen, right? So that's like writing a goal.
Yeah.
Once you make a decision, what you want,
Yeah.
then you're going to write a goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you plan how you're going to make it happen. A dream or a goal. And then underneath the plan, you have to have a financial plan. What dollars do you need to make that plan work? A lot of times you need to make your plan work to reach your goal. So you need a financial, right?
Yeah, and that the financial aspect of the plan is usually the most important. Like sometimes.
Well, if you don't make that first decision and have a dream or a goal, then
then there's
No-
no need for
no
the
need
financial
for it.
plan.
so
Because you're
So
not
let's just say you want to you decided you want to go to a certain school, or you want to go learn a trade. Then you decide that, then okay, what dollars do I need? First, okay, so you make the decision, and then, all right, well, when would I go to school? Go to school in the fall. Well, if I went, okay, so that's the plan. And then how many dollars do I need to go to school in the fall? Then that's the financial plan, which supports the plan, supports the goal.
Yeah. Yeah, how many dollars do you
Yeah, how many dollars do I need to make that happen? Or if I want to go to California, I want to go from point A to point B, then that's the goal. Then plan would be, well, which roads am I going to take? Yeah.
Yep.
And where am I going to stay? Where am I going to sleep? And then underneath that plan, you have a financial, which is how many dollars am I going to need to do this, to make this happen?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Really. No, that's good because like decision making is a huge topic that sometimes doesn't get enough.
Yeah,
attention.
no, it's a very important skill that we have to develop
Yeah.
to be functioning adults in this world, right? And they don't teach decision making in school either.
Yeah.
How many classes did you have of decision making? Right?
None. It was the most of the decision making I saw that came up was you'd get assigned a project and you'd be able to choose the topic.
Oh.
And they'd say, all right, choose something.
That's a good example, but that's a great example of the limit of it.
That was pretty much the limit. It's all right. You can choose to write an essay or give a presentation.
Now, when you go, see that? So
maybe you can.
what a very, very low limit in terms of exercising your decision-making skills, ability, right? You would want to be practicing that and getting better at it and getting tougher decisions and get better at that and get tougher decisions. But geez, that level is so low, you come out and no wonder you look around and say, what do I do? That's what a lot of people, they come out, they're like, they don't have that decision-making skill, and then they have to choose: am I going to go learn a trade? Am I going to go to college? What courses do I take? What school do I go? Am I going to go home? go to work? Do I follow? Do I go pick a school close by, far away? These are like to sleep questions.
Let me just go back.
So just go back to sleep.
Yeah.
Because the skills are not there.
Mm-hmm.
When you
The
skills aren't there.
Like it was interesting. I'm reading this book about Joe Morrison, who I didn't really know, but he's a famous musician. I probably listened to some of his music without knowing it. But one of the parts in the book is he's finishing up a class. He's in college or doing a class, whether it's high school or college. And he said to the professor, like, instead of writing 2 essays, can I write 1? And instead of these topics, can I write on this other topic? And the professor had never really heard that before, but he said, okay, this kid seems passionate. Okay, instead of 2 essays, he can do 1 long essay and then just do it on this topic. And then he did. And he was really interested in this topic that he wrote about. And the professor really enjoyed his perspective on it. And just doing that is kind of way out of the ordinary to think that you can do something that the authority doesn't offer to you.
Yeah. And by that point, too.
Like there's more choices than just the 2 that are in front of you.
And
if you're interested, if you push.
Yeah, if you push it, and at that point, you are so trained to listen to authority. Yeah, that is pushing it. That was risky. Yes. Doug? You there?
Hello?
I think you passed an hour, Doug.
Yeah, we'll edit this out. All right, Father.
Oh, hello, Dougie.
Oh, and we're back.
All right.
Yeah, that's a really good conversation, honestly, in regards to decision making.
Yeah, no, that was good. Yeah, and so, and then the financial planning,
Yeah.
you talk about that, and you had mentioned that you wanted me to talk about, the book that I was writing.
Yeah, that's right.
And those 2 subjects that we just talked about, decision making and planning, and then the finances supporting the plan, that leads into Robert Kiyosaki's stuff, which is money and finance.
Yeah.
People have to learn that too. It's not being taught in school. Young people have to learn. So when they get to be 17, 18, they need all these skills that they haven't been taught, and they're asked to become adults, and it's very difficult.
Yeah.
Because they need skills.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the one story I was quoting before we got cut off was about this guy Jim Morrison, who was given an essay to write, and he went to his professor and he said, instead of writing these 2 essays on these 2 topics, can I just write 1 big essay on this other topic? And the professor didn't really expect it, and he kind of like created his own rules, like his own thing to do, which is kind of breaking out of the system a little bit. It's kind of doing what you want with the system's like approval.
Oh, at that point you're a real rebel.
You're a rebel, but you're still getting the assignment done.
And we need so many different more skills than that level. That's amazing, crazy, right?
Yeah. The fact that like you can do something that's not option 1 or option 2. It's option 3.
And
But they don't tell you about option 3.
this is college. You're about 23, 24 at this point.
Yeah.
And you're still struggling with such low level type of decisions and such low level types of risk.
and then you see a classmate who's able to write one essay instead of two, and it's on this topic that he enjoys, so it's not much effort for him. And you're like, wait a minute, I didn't know that was an option. The professor would say, well, you didn't ask. I'm like, whoa.
And we wonder why risk is such. We're so unfamiliar with risk.
Yeah.
You know, when you're out in the real world, taking calculated risks is important.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to invest in real estate, if you want to do this, you want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
This whole dealing with risks, that's another subject that we have not been trained in, right?
Yeah. Yeah, really.
I heard of a book or a game. It's called The Game of Risk.
Yeah.
You ever heard of it?
Maybe. It kind of rings a bell a little bit.
The Game of Risk, and then there's a book written about winning at the Game of Risk. It's actually a game,
Yeah.
which I'm getting a sense of. It's like
Mm-hmm.
not like a board game. Yeah, it's maybe like a board game
Probably, yeah.
that you play that would help you.
Yeah. Get past risking like chips or money or get you more comfortable with it.
Exactly, because when you choose a course, a curriculum, you know, where you're going to end up, that's a risk.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
you're going to choose a school, that's a risk. You do what your parents did, or you do what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
These are all things that weigh heavy on younger people and older people too. But especially at 17, 18, 19, when you got to decide the direction of your future, and no one's really helping you that much, because now you're an adult, you should be able to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Just experience in your mind, in your subconscious. There's no experience of risk, you know, successfully.
Yeah.
You know.
It's tough at that point.
So then at that point, there's a lot more fear and stress involved.
Yeah. Plenty.
Because, plenty more.
Oh yeah, because you don't want to
Plenty
make the wrong decision.
Oh, I know, and then you don't really know how to make a decision.
Yeah,
Because
then you're stuck with the decision you make.
Right.
You think you are, at least.
You think you are. You don't know how flexible you could
You
be.
don't know that you could change your mind in 2 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then on top of it, like if you start looking into how much college costs nowadays, like you better know what you want to do by the time you're paying 30-40 grand a year.
Talk about stress.
Yeah, now it's financial stress.
Yeah, and then how about the
You don't know
financial
what to
planning?
do.
Yeah, how about the financial planning?
Yeah,
about that.
And a majority of the time, it's either like if you're lucky, you have a parent or a grandparent or somebody who will pay for your college for you. If you're unlucky, you got to pay for it yourself or figure it out yourself.
Well, it all depends what you consider lucky or unlucky.
That's 100% true. Exactly.
Like if you were 10 years old and had to provide for the family, or run your father's convenience store, like Kiyosaki's his friend had to.
Yeah.
Then you would learn a lot more, a lot quicker.
You'd be learning a lot quicker. Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Versus if someone paid for your college, by the time you get out of college, then you're still unprepared.
You're still unprepared. Yeah, you still don't really know. You're hoping. You may have a better situation. Somebody, that's one less thing you have to figure out. Like, oh yeah, that's
later
taken care of. Versus, I need to work 4 days a week for my entire college career to leave debt free,
right?
Or to leave with minimal debt. But when you tack on the fact that students are paying 40, like if you go out of state to Penn State, that's 50 grand.
A year.
50 grand a year. To live there,
So
room and board, classes, tuition.
If you do good with no lapses like in your attention and pass all your classes and take all the courses required, and
Yeah.
you might get out of there with
In 4 years.
$200,000 debt.
Exactly. Yeah, if you don't have to repeat any classes, if you don't change your degree.
Right, you don't drop any classes. Don't change your degree. Don't change your degree.
God forbid, because if you do, and you're down the line, and you're in the beginning, you're lucky.
It's
to just take
minimum.
general education classes that are applied for any degree, like English and math and your humanities. They apply for any degree. But if you start going down the road of an engineer and you say, "Oh shit, I want to be a biologist," you're like, "Well,
and
there goes 4 or 5 classes I'm not going to use."
There goes a number of semesters down the tubes.
Yeah, 1-2 semesters. Like
25,000. What is it?
25 for a semester, 50 for a year. If you're just talking Penn State, you're like, Jesus, I just cost myself $50,000
for that decision. That was an expensive decision.
Yeah.
Boy, that was a costly one.
Yup. Exactly.
That's not even saying you get distracted with a girl. Or...
No, that's just assuming you passed all your classes.
Everyone,
you didn't have to drop any.
No.
Retake any.
Liked all your teachers.
Yup. Yeah, you survived. You made it through. Yeah, you'd be like, wow, that's an expensive decision. $50,000 later.
Yeah, and that's all to decide your career and job.
That's right. Yeah. Career and job.
Right?
Yeah. And it's crazy because that's an expensive decision. If it's $50,000 to change your career, and then on top of it, that's before even getting into the career. And
right, you're just guessing.
You're gonna like it. Exactly. Right. You're just guessing.
So you're going 4 years wondering.
I hope I'm a fan of biology. I hope I like being a marine biologist.
Right.
But then you get into it, and then you find out the majority of a marine biologist's work is applying for grants. And like a tenth of your time is actually in the water, or like doing studies or doing what you want to do. You're like, oh boy, did I fuck up?
Yeah. See, that's why throughout our conversations over the years, we talked about, going to school for something you like, you think you like, and then getting a job in that career, so you can have the theory at school and then the practical at work.
Yeah.
So if you do that while you're going through college, then you get a much better understanding if you're going to like where you're going.
Yeah. Much more confident about that. Yeah.
It's more like apprenticeship is how we do it in the trades.
Exactly. Yeah. If you can get into your career, whether it's marketing or whether even if you can like get in at the bottom where you're just an assistant to the marketing department and you're just watching them.
So you can see.
Exactly. That's incredibly valuable.
Sure.
Just watching people at work.
Right. Just being around the environment. Do I like this environment? Do I like being in an office?
Yeah.
Would I rather be outside working with my hands?
Mm-hmm.
Do I like being outdoors? Some do not like being in an office.
Yeah. Yeah, being in a cubicle is... it can be really draining.
You could end up in a cubicle, choosing a career.
Yeah.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. And that all depends. Like maybe one company's bad and another company's better.
Well, if you're trying different things as you're going through college, you think, I do like this, but I didn't like working there, so you go try somewhere else.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What else is there in this career? Because I may have to change it.
Yeah.
If it's all like this.
Yeah. Exactly. That's a rough time.
It is rough. It is rough.
It can be if you're like, oh boy, I just did 3 years of college. Now it's time for my internship. and you say, "Oh God, I hate this industry."
This is crazy. I don't really
Like being a marine biologist, the algae I'm around smells, makes me want to vomit. Like anything, like you're like, this was not what I thought.
What do I do now?
Oh my God! And then especially like at that point, so imagine that, like you're 3 years in, you're $150,000 in debt. You realize you're not a fan of the career choice you made. Now you got to change it. Do you stick it out another year and then get your degree there, and then choose to enter that field knowing you'll be unhappy your whole life? Do you finish out that degree and then try to use that degree to enter a totally different field? Or do you go back to roughly the start, not totally the start, because you have some general ed classes already under your belt, but do you go back a year and get another $50,000 in debt or maybe more for this other career path?
Oh, and then on top, and then on top of it, not only the pressure from yourself that maybe you didn't make the right decision, but then you got people around you maybe that are helping you pay.
Oh boy!
You have to explain to them, well, why you don't think that this is going to be for you.
Yeah.
And then add to that, you're not working full time, so you've been going through school with almost no money in your pocket, unless you got a job that you've been working while you're trying to do the full-time classes. At Penn State, where the curriculum is probably pretty intense during the day.
Yeah, that can get real stressful.
Oh yeah, and you're driving around a car that's really not fixed up that well.
No, it's a dilapidated car. You're working some odd job in retail, just have money in your pockets. Like, just keep yourself fed throughout the week as the school's nickel and diming you for $50,000.
Right, feeding yourself throughout the week is a challenge.
Kid, I just gotta feed myself. I gotta work so that I can feed myself, and then I gotta do my schoolwork.
I'm always hungry.
Yeah. Oh, what? Yeah, that's rough.
It is rough.
That's really rough. If that's reality.
It's reality in America today.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yep. Yeah, like back a good number of years ago, college wasn't as expensive. Like, Dad, how much was college when you were a kid?
Well,
you were looking at colleges.
Well, I forget the exact amount, but I remember hearing a guy on the radio saying he used to be able to work a part-time job in the summer and have enough money for college for the year.
Yeah.
Or maybe not part-time, but he used to be able to work a job in the summer.
Yeah, like a full-time job.
And then he had enough money for college for the year.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember I went to NJIT, and I think it was like $1,200 for like two or three classes at night.
Yeah. Okay.
So that'd be like 2 courses, $600. A class.
Yeah, that's not bad. I remember hearing something similar, like classes back then may have been like $5,000 for the whole year.
That's probably about right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was in the 1980s.
Yeah, in the 80s. Yeah, probably like $5,000 for the whole year.
Yeah, this guy was talking. Yeah, this guy was talking in the 70s when he used to work during the summer and he had enough money to pay for his college. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
college.
College. So when you add the fact that we're not trained to make decisions, and then we haven't been given opportunity to find out what we like, what we're interested in, and we have no idea what these fields offer.
And on top of it, now college is a large ticket item. That you don't want to waste time. Like you want to know what you're doing.
Yeah, there's no time. There's no time to waste.
There's no time to waste
to find out what you really like.
No, there's no time for that. If you're in school,
You better get
you
busy.
better know what you're doing.
Better get busy.
Better get busy. Yeah. Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, that's
like,
why
talk about
that
extra pressure being added onto things.
Yeah, that's why that Salisbury School's principals were so much better.
Yeah.
Look at all it taught the young person as they were coming up.
Yeah.
Look at all they.
It's a big deal.
Yeah. So, but
It's a big deal.
educational system, maybe it'll change, but these are the young people face it, 17, 18, 19. A lot of people don't look at the trades either. The trades are good, working with your hands, and the money's good. And you get to serve an apprenticeship, which like what we're talking about, working, going to school,
Yeah.
making full salary as you gain experience, knowledge, pay goes up.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably a better way for younger people to look at how they're going to go about this. Try to put those together. Where they're working, to get the practical, and the school getting the theory.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big deal.
Yeah, because then they could decide along the way, this is for me, this isn't for me. And if they're working, they've gotten used to some money in their pocket, and they feel comfortable.
Yeah.
They feel comfortable. You feel comfortable with money in your pocket.
Yeah. Yeah, you can feed yourself now.
Now you can eat a little more
Now you can eat.
on the holidays, at least.
Yeah.
No, you can eat. You can eat well if you work full time in a business, in a trade that's paying you decent wages. But not some of these things like where you're doing an internship. Internship is like apprenticeship without the pay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and those are valuable to an extent.
To an extent.
Some internships
But you still
line you up for a job at the end.
Yeah, but you still need money in your pocket.
Yeah, that's why the paid internships are much better than the unpaid ones.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
You need money in your pocket for travel expense. Once again, food. What you want to eat?
You want to eat?
Yeah. Regularly?
Yeah, I want to eat.
What, regularly?
So, like 3 times a day?
You want to eat every day?
Every day? Oh boy, you're asking for a lot.
Oh, I don't know if this internship is for you.
Yeah. Oh boy.
No, maybe it's not.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that nuts?
It is nuts.
Like I have a friend who's going down the medical residency route. He's on his way to become a doctor, and he was telling me, because I brought that up to him. I said, "Hey, so is that a thing? Like, nurses really, and residents really not eat all that much? They don't get many breaks?" And he said, "Yeah, it is." He said he was interviewing one place, and he said, "Oh yeah, we barely have time for breaks."
Yeah.
As if the guy was saying that with pride. Like, yeah, we barely have time to eat.
Yeah, like he's proud
while we're here.
He's proud.
Like he's proud of it, exactly.
Yeah, no, there's no time to eat here. We're really happy about that.
No, we're really busy. We're doing important work. We don't really eat here.
Yeah, we're on our feet pretty much the whole 8 hours.
Yeah, the whole 12 hours, really.
Oh yeah,
Like,
the
we might
12
get-
hours. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we might get 20 minutes to ourselves.
Eating's not a real big thing when you're.
No, it's very low on our list.
Yeah, it's low on our list.
Yeah, priorities. Yeah, no, we got patients to take care of.
Yeah, we're busy. We're happy with our careers.
Yeah, imagine that. Like that's the wild part. And he said it as if they were bragging while he was mentioning that. Like, yeah, we barely eat. We barely have time to eat here. As if he's bragging.
Bragging. That's a good thing.
Yeah, we barely have time to eat here. Like, oh, you like to eat? Yeah, this might not be the place for you. Like, but I'm trying to help people be a doctor. Yeah, no, that's great. You just got to give up eating.
For
that.
just the time that you're going to school and serving your residency.
Yeah, once you become a doctor,
You can eat.
like 8 years in the future.
Yeah, you can eat, buy a house.
Then you can eat.
Yeah,
Then you can eat.
yeah.
But until then,
After you're done.
until then, we're just gonna look at you as if you're like greedy and needy. You might not be hospital material.
Yeah, he's very needy.
You're very needy.
Yep.
Boy, have you always been this needy?
Right. You've been needy all your life like this?
Yeah, oh boy.
Yeah.
No, that's about to change.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, right. You want to come?
Yeah, wait.
You want to work for us?
Oh yeah, wait till just spend 2 weeks with us. That's gonna change. You'll be like, huh? Oh boy, did I eat lunch today? Oh, I didn't. Today was a good day though.
Yeah, we eat.
Something.
You also hear. We eat pretty much at our desk.
Oh boy.
That's another one you hear.
That's right.
We eat at our desk usually. Really?
Usually.
Really? You eat at your desk?
Yeah.
In front of?
That means that you don't have time to go out.
We don't. No, we don't. We're so old.
You don't have time for your books. No getting food from the town, from the local shops.
Oh no, they're all closed down.
No, you know, regardless, you wouldn't have time for that anyway.
Yeah, you shouldn't really even though we're in a pandemic and everything's closed, there's no time for that.
No, barely time for takeout. Eat your food, get back to work.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you got time for.
Yeah, but in the union environment, you get breaks, you get lunch, maybe yourself.
Yeah, which is wild that you really think the people in the medical profession are really working to that extent. Like my buddy said, they take pride in not having many breaks and working like 12 hours straight. And believe it or not, like that breeds unhealthiness.
Sure it does. Over time. Sure it does over time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're having your breaks and feeding yourself well, working 12 hours a day is a strain.
Yeah, and then you think about it, those are the people that are supposed to be taking care of us.
Yeah.
But they're barely taking care of themselves.
Right. That's one of the most highly stressed jobs too, on top of it. They have some of the most difficult problems, stress levels.
Yeah.
Is what I heard, is what I've read.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah. That's rough. So, yeah, I'm thankful I'm not working 12 hours a day. Whew. Yeah, I can sit down for lunch.
Oh, and I'm telling you, it's not easy for the body to squeeze into that either. It gets to you.
On top of it, like, it's partially like, it's well, in that situation, it's work culture. So it's the hospital. It's people saying, yeah, we don't have, you want to eat? No, we don't have time for that. So it's the work culture. And like a lot of it, believe it or not, is actually like an American culture. Like really work hard, put your nose to the grindstone. Like just grind it out for a couple of years until you get what you want, and then you can relax and do whatever you want for the rest of your years.
So that's where
that's a lot of it.
So that's where a lot of stress comes in and a lot of difficulty for young people. And that's why meditation is such a huge thing, because then you can access your higher self, help you with that, and then see if this is something for you, and then make a decision. But if you're not using your spiritual tools to help you through that, it's very confusing and stressful.
Yeah,
because you're still it's very difficult. That's why young people need to address the spiritual aspect also.
Mm-hmm.
Because as soon as they start to find that place inside themselves, the quantum you, your higher self, and then sooner you get relief and you start making decisions from your inner being, and it's helping you, or God is helping you to guide you through all the things that are sort of missing. All the skills you haven't been taught.
Mm-hmm.
So the sooner people can figure out the spiritual aspect of themselves, the much way better off they are.
Yeah, no, and you are way better off at that point.
Right? You know it, right? you know from
Yeah.
experience you're better off.
Well, yeah, definitely from my
Right?
experience. Yeah, because
That's what I'm saying.
honestly,
Like,
being stuck in indecision is a horrible place to be. And just feeling stuck in general is a horrible place to be.
yeah, not to mention the pressure your parents are looking at you, thinking, what is he doing? What's he doing?
Yeah, what's he doing? What's his plan? What's he doing next? Why's he just sitting down?
Just playing. Well, I don't know what
when
my.
I was a kid.
Shit, well, that really helps.
When I was a kid.
Well, sometimes it does help, but people still need that inner guidance system.
Yeah.
That's why you have so many people out there like Joe Dispenza, Abraham Hicks, The Secret, trying to help people direct themselves to this part of themselves so they can start to navigate through life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you've done the
stuff.
You've done the work. You've done the work, so you have that advantage.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and we all kind of go through those situations. I feel like it's kind of like a rite of passage, a little bit.
Well, it is. It's a rite of passage from being a young person to being an adult. That's really what being an adult is. When you can take all these the skills that we're talking about, and then combine it with spirituality, your ability to connect with your inner being, then you're perceived as being an adult, like a competent adult, because you can navigate through things. Even though you may not have a lot of experience, you've got a good handle on making decisions, choosing what you want, what you're attracted to, following it, taking risks.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
It is a big deal. It's tough deciding what you're going to do for life.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. At any point.
Yeah.
I think that you have to stick with it.
The rest of your life. Well, that's a mistaken thinking, but
that is a mistaken thinking.
But you don't know much else at this point, right? Going through 12 years of school.
You're just hearing what people are telling you.
You just hopefully you have good people, smart people around you. But if you don't,
you're in more trouble.
You're in survival mode.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's not fun.
No, it's rough. It's fight or flight. I gotta do something. I gotta do something bad. Oof.
Right.
Yeah. The idea if you're really in a crunch, just rob a bank. Like ideas like that are sounding more attractive.
Right. Well, that's right. That's why people turn
to something serious.
Right. To get some cash flow going.
Yeah. I should just rob a bank.
Right. Which takes you down a real bad path.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's an important skill. It's an important skill. I don't think it's definitely not taught enough.
Which skill?
Decision making.
Well, yeah, man.
Well, that's not taught enough.
No, it's not. Practice enough early.
Discussed enough. Or
discussed enough.
Discussed enough. How do you make decisions? Well, pros and cons list. That's great. That's one way. What's another way? Meditation.
Right.
Asking your inner being. Great. That's a great way too. What's
asking
another
God for help? Praying, like asking God for help.
Exactly. That's
right.
another way. Like
dear Lord, please help.
People around you.
That's another way.
Talking to some experienced people. That's another way.
Right.
Like, oh boy.
Which way do you like to do it? Well, I don't know. Well, let's practice.
Yeah. Use one. Use all of those ways.
Right. Use one. Use all the ways, and find out which one you like best. But now let's practice.
Yeah.
Right. And that would be much better for a young person, rather than sit and learning English for 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
Learning history, which is probably incorrect.
Yeah. Yeah, it's big.
Oh yeah.
It's definitely a change.
Oh yeah, it is. That's why Yeah, that's why when young people come out of school, they're so ill prepared for the real world that it's such a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, even if you did all these things as you were growing up, it would still be a challenge to choose a direction and choose a life path that you were attracted to. Still would be a challenge, but much less.
Yeah.
Much less. So
Mm-hmm.
I've done this before. I know how to make decisions. I know this feels right. I want to go this way. Okay, then you go that way. But when you don't have anything to refer back to, then it's major.
Yeah.
And like you said, if you add the cost of going to college,
Oh my gosh! Now there's no time to make mistakes.
no time to make bad decisions either.
No, none. Have you on your game?
Oh, from
Costing you and your family money.
Hey, you graduated? Don't enjoy the summer too much, because fall is going to be here.
Yeah.
Don't you think
it's time to start paying me back?
Don't you think you're going to have a good time? Well, let's say between high school and college, it's like, wow, what do you think? Have a good time this summer?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really.
Yeah. So I mean, so what we were talking about is that, and this is, coming from the things I was talking to you about before, which is a deliberate creation, the ability to deliberately create what you want, right? What you want. And that comes from the Abraham Hicks books, right? Law of Attraction.
Mm-hmm.
Ability to create what you want, if you know what you want. And then to come to the understanding that we're attracting things by our thinking and become aware of our thoughts, creating or miscreating. Yeah. It really pays if people are not opposed to reading. Some people don't like to read. Really, if you can read, find good books like Joe Dispenza, Robert Kiyosaki, Abraham.
Yeah, reading is big.
Reading's big because
reading's very big.
Yeah, because you get the training, the tools that you need to fill the gap. So if you could pick up books and read them, the ones you're attracted to on subjects you're interested in, like the subjects we've been touching here, you can make up the difference. It would be better if they were officially presented in class as subjects of value. Yeah. And everybody could, work together and discuss them and work on them. That would be ideal. If you're not getting the training in school, you have to get training somewhere. Once you identify these skills that you got, decision making, spirituality, law of attraction, your inner self, meditation. These you could get from books. There's plenty of books on these subjects that can help. So that's like really big. If someone's in the position that we're talking about, reading, meditating, thinking, decision making decisions, and practicing this stuff regularly helps big time. Fills the gap. Yeah. Fills that gap.
Yeah. Yeah, it's big. It's really big. Yeah, imagine that. Then the fact, we said it, like you add on the fact that college is $50,000 a year, then you don't have time to make mistakes. Like that's why community college is so important. Thankfully, community college is so important. You're able to spend that time and like get out some regular classes, things that aren't working too well, and you slowly figure it out for a cheaper price tag, which is a big deal. Did I still get you? Are you still there? So I can't hear you. All right,
We'll be right back. Oh, Father.
Dougie.
Well, welcome back.
Looks like I had the only success I had was closing everything.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I had to take it off my phone. You know how you close all?
yeah, you close your tabs?
Yeah.
Yeah. That works.
In the text messages.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that works a lot of times. Good. Well, I'm glad we got you back.
Yeah.
And I wanted to wrap this up, but I also wanted you to tell the listeners about the book you have going on.
Oh, that was we pretty much covered the important aspects of the book. It's a survival guide for young people, young men and women. A survival guide for older people too, but it's mostly directed to young people. And we pretty much went over some of the important things like decision making, but there's chapters that are broken down into categories. So this way, you can take this confusing thing called life and break it down into parts. For example, the first category is body health and appearance, because your health is your first wealth.
Mm-hmm.
Robert Kiyosaki, right?
Yeah.
And then the second, and you know these categories. The second one is money and finance, which is important to understand that and raise your level of intelligence. And Robert Kiyosaki is one of the best authors to go start with. And then we were talking about career and job, because that's why a lot of people go to school, to get a career and job. And then we also touched on spirituality. That's another chapter, because meditation and the spiritual authors that we talked about and the principles, that spirituality is a big part. And then new habits and new skills, that's important too. Those are other 2 chapters, because sometimes you have to gain new skills to advance, to change your life, to be who you want to be. And new habits, sometimes you have to create new habits. So there's chapters on that. And then there's also relationships, our personal relationships, and then also family and all these other relationships we have. Those are important. It's another chapter. And then material possessions, we talked about having a car, having an apartment, living on your own. These things all are areas that people need goals in, they need dreams in, so that they create the life they want.
Yeah.
But we did a good job talking about the important things. And once you get the principles down, is that you have to make a decision, you have to make a plan, right? Your decision is turns into your goal. And then your plan is how you're going to get it, and a financial plan that supports that plan. And then when you use these types of skills in all these different areas, you can start to get a handle on this thing called life, instead of looking at it as one ball of, oh my God, one ball of, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So we break it down into workable parts and apply spiritual principles, financial principles, and new skills and habits, like learning how to make decisions, learning how to meditate, learning how to contact your higher self. All these things helps people guide themselves to what they want, so that they can have a happy life.
Yeah.
Which is what we all want.
Yeah. That's good, Father.
Yeah,
that's
great.
really good.
Yeah, good call, Dougie.
Yeah. This is really great. Yeah, I'm happy I was able to get you on. You always have a lot of good things to say, so.
Well, so do you.
I'm sure the listeners are a fan of hearing your wisdom.
Well, I hope they are.
I hope they are.
But it was a great first call for both you and me.
Yeah. That's right. First one. I'm sure I'll have you on again.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right, very nice, Father. Well, thank you for being on. Take care.
Okay.
And I'm thankful for all the listeners that tuned in.
Yeah, that's great. I hope they enjoyed it.
I hope they enjoyed it too. I'm sure they did.
Okay.
All right, Father. We'll pick this up another time.
Okay, talk to you later.
All right. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
All right. Bye.
Bye.